tout le monde. So we're in the month of December, and I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about Christmas and then moving into the new year. So these are some ideas of some of the things that you might do at Christmas. So I've got them on a piece of paper here. So if I just read them out to you, the first one you might do is manger trop de dinde. Now, if you're in the UK, you will be eating probably dinde, which is our traditional, the bird that we eat at Christmas. I think that started off in American tradition, really, because we always had goose, didn't we? L'oie, O-I-E in French is goose. But now a lot of people eat manger trop de dinde. To eat too much, trop de dinde. Huh? Or passer de temps en famille. Passer du temps. So passer can be to pass in front of, but passer du temps is to spend time. Passer du temps en famille. Then you might rendre visite à la famille. Now this is interesting because we have a verb visiter, so you can visiter le château, visiter la ville, but when you visit people, you need to say to give a visit to, rendre visite à. So rendre visite à la famille. Est-ce que vous avez rendu visite à la famille? Did you visit? Huh? Faire des promenades en plein air. Well, that would be pleasant, wouldn't it? Because we had some nice cold. Il faisait frais. It was cold. It was crisp. Christmas Eve, la veille de Noël. La veille, le 24 is la veille de Noël. And le jour de Noël, it was also frais, hein? Un peu froid. But did you do, est-ce que vous avez fait des promenades en plein air? Oui, peut-être. Voir le spectacle pour enfants. Well, that might be some kind of pantomime. So, le spectacle is a show. It's a traditional British thing or UK thing is a panto. So, the best way we could translate that is a show for children. Voir le spectacle pour enfants. Est-ce que vous avez fait du shopping? Hein? Sûrement. Hein? Ou bien en ville, dans les magasins, ou bien en ligne. Perhaps you went shopping in town, en ville, dans les magasins, or, ou bien, en ligne, shopping online. Maybe you did a bit of both, 50%. Hein? J'ai fait un peu des deux. Hein? Je préfère visiter des magasins hein, pour faire le choix, hein, pour voir les choses. C'est plus agréable, c'est plus excitant. Regarder la télévision, hein, c'est sûr. We watch some television. Les films de Noël surtout, especially Christmas films. Jouer au jeu, perhaps you had des cartes ou des jouets ou des jeux vidéo, any kind of games really. Préparer le repas de Noël, which we said before may have been le dinde. Est-ce que vous avez préparé le dinde pour le repas de Noël? Quand est-ce que vous avez mangé le repas de Noël? Est-ce que vous avez mangé le repas à déjeuner, donc vers 1h ou 13h? 1 o'clock, we say 13h is just after 1 o'clock, the PM version. Did you eat it about 1 o'clock, un peu plus tard? 14h, 15h? Sometimes we eat lunch a bit later on Christmas Day because there's a lot to do. So what did you prepare? Qu'est-ce que vous avez préparé pour le repas de Noël? So there's just a few ideas of things that traditionally we might do at Christmas. I'm going to read out a text now. I've got a nice quiz for you, a French Christmas quiz. But the answers might not be that obvious. There's a couple of them that you might know already. You might know the word for a Christmas tree. You might know the word already for Santa Claus. But I'm actually going to read you this text in English, which gives you the answers, and then some of you who would like to have a challenge may want to translate this. So I'm going to read it out in English fairly slowly, and the answers to this quiz are in this text, and then I've got the French version. Okay, so what you could do is listen to this, and then we'll do the French version. So when you listen to the English, put it on pause, the video that I'm doing. Give yourself 1 heure, however long it takes to translate, pour faire la traduction en français, and then you'll have the answers to the quiz. So, bonne chance, hein? So, do this if you can, do a little bit if you can, just pick out some words, see how you get on. Christmas in France. So, how you might translate that in French, Christmas in France. Christmas is Noël in France, en France, because the word en is for regions, feminine regions or countries, isn't it? We use dans for dans un restaurant, dans le café, but en is used for counties and countries. So Christmas, Noël en France. Okay, introduction, same word, introduction. Christmas is coming. The shops are decorated and are making preparations in order to maximise sales during this season. We have just had the tradition of Black Friday, which now exceeds just one day and lasts the whole weekend. But how do they celebrate Christmas in France? Traditionally, it's Saint Nicolas of Lorraine who distributes sweets to the children. This is why they have the celebration of Saint Nicolas in Nancy in this region at the beginning of December. In the capital, the Champs-Élysées is lit up until the middle of January, which attracts lots of people. During Advent, French people make preparations for Christmas. Thus, there are 4 weeks when you can see the illuminations everywhere and can find and go to Christmas markets, which are often attended by craft people. It isn't quite the same in England as, on the whole, the commercialisation starts in October. Nevertheless, we share a cherished tradition of decorating our towns and homes with the Christmas tree, a tradition which dates back to the 16th century in Alsace. Turn the page. Some of us take out the crib, in brackets nativity scene, from amongst our decorations in the cupboard, where we put the figures representing the Magi, the shepherds and the newly born, the infant divine, Jesus Christ. Children adore singing carols around the crib or around the tree, and they also look forward to Father Christmas coming, who brings them presents. As for food, French people celebrate Christmas Eve eating a big meal, which is a large spread of meats and fish, shellfish, but not necessarily turkey. For dessert, they will have made a lovely Christmas log. On the 26th of December, they'll go back to work, but will be looking forward to Epiphany. People gather at the village hall to eat the special cake for New Year and raise a glass together. And then at the end I've put Joyeux Noël à vous tous. So, Happy Christmas. And there's a little picture of the dessert. So, that's quite a long text. Within that, you've got the answers to the questions to the quiz. So, if you put this on pause, if you want to try and translate it into French, then put this on pause and then come back, and I will now read this in French to enable you to answer the questions. Okay? So, Noël en France. Introduction. La fête de Noël s'approche. Les magasins sont décorés et font des préparations afin de maximiser leur vente pendant cette saison. Nous venons d'assister à la tradition de Black Friday, qui maintenant dépasse un seul jour et qui dure tout le week-end. Mais comment fait-on Noël en France? Traditionnellement, c'est le Saint Nicolas de Lorraine qui distribue des friandises, soit la gâterie aux enfants. C'est la raison pour laquelle l'on fête la Saint-Nicolas à Nancy, dans cette région, début décembre. Dans la capitale, l'avenue des Champs-Élysées est illuminée jusqu'au mi-janvier, ce qui attire beaucoup de gens. Pendant l'Avent, les Français font les préparations pour fêter Noël. Donc, il y a 4 semaines où l'on peut voir les illuminations partout et où l'on trouve et peut assister au marché de Noël, qui sont souvent fréquentés par les artisans. Il n'en est pas de même ici en Angleterre, car, pour la plupart, la commercialisation commence au mois d'octobre. Néanmoins, nous partageons une chère tradition de décorer nos villes et nos domiciles avec le sapin de Noël, une tradition qui date du XVIe siècle en Alsace. Quelques-uns d'entre nous sortons de nos placards parmi nos décorations le berceau, où l'on met des santons qui représentent les rois mages, les bergers et le nouveau-né, le divin enfant Jésus-Christ. Les enfants adorent chanter les chants de Noël autour du berceau ou du sapin, et ils attendent aussi avec impatience la visite de Père Noël, qui les apportera des cadeaux. En ce qui concerne la nourriture, les Français fêtent la veille de Noël en mangeant le réveillon de Noël, ce qui est une grande bouffe de viande, de poisson, de coquillages, mais pas forcément la dinde. Comme dessert, ils auront préparé une belle bûche de Noël. Le 26 décembre, ils retourneront au travail, mais ils attendront avec impatience l'épiphanie. Les gens se retrouveront à la salle des fêtes pour manger la galette des rois et boire un coup ensemble. Joyeux Noël à vous tous. Okay, so that's quite a long translation. I hope you're able to hear some of the facts about Christmas within that, because now I'm going to do the French Christmas quiz with you. Okay, so I think we've got 10 questions. Here we go. So I'm going to hold it up for you to see and read it from my sheet here. So, question 1. What is the name of the patron saint of Lorraine who distributes sweets and treats? Well, in the dialogue I just read out, the text, I said gâterie, or friandises, which are sweets and treats. Is it Saint-André, Saint-Étienne, Saint-Nicolas, or Saint-Valentin? Well, the answer to that one, I'm going to do the answers as we go, otherwise this is going to go on for too long. So the answer to that one is C, Saint-Nicolas, Saint Nicholas. Okay, and number 2. Let's have a look. I think this one's quite easy for you. Number 2. Which famous street in Paris is illuminated from mid-November until mid-January? Is it the Avenue des Champs-Élysées, the Boulevard Haussmann, the Boulevard Saint-Germain, or the Champ de Mars? Well, again, probably one of the most famous streets or avenues in Paris, la capitale, is the Avenue des Champs-Élysées. The Élysée fields, or Champs is the fields, so that is A is the answer to question 2. Number 3 is over the page. And you've got the third question coming up. Here we go. Good luck. What event takes place in Nancy, Lorraine, in early December? So Nancy is the town in Lorraine, the area of France. Is it La Fête des Lumières, which is Festival of Lights, Les Lumières de Noël, the lights of Christmas, La Sainte Barbe, or La Saint Nicolas? Well, it's got to be D, hasn't it? La Saint Nicolas, Saint Nicholas, Saint Nick, who we refer to as well as Father Christmas. So, number 4. Here we go. This one again, I think if you know anything about the religious calendar in the church, you should get this one as well. Number 4. What is the French for the 4 weeks leading up to Christmas? Is it l'Avent, l'Épiphanie, le Nouvel An, or la Toussaint? Well, you probably know from English as well, if you put a D in that word here, Advent, we have Advent calendars, don't we? So it's the 4 weeks before Christmas, we have an Advent calendar, so it's A, l'Avent. The second one, l'Épiphanie, I said the French would look forward to that. So l'Épiphanie is the 6th of January, and traditionally that's when we take our decorations down. But in France, they actually celebrate the 6th of January, or the New Year, by going to the town hall with their friends and eating the special cake, which is later on in the quiz. Le Nouvel An, the New Year, which is, quelle date? C'est le 1er janvier, okay? And la Toussaint, Tout is all, Saint is saints, All Saints Day, which is the 1st of November, which is a jour férié, a bank holiday in France. The French go to the cemeteries and put flowers on the graves of their loved ones, and we were in France one year and the cemeteries are covered in flowers. It's a beautiful sight. So that one, question 4, was A, Advent, l'Avent. Number 5, halfway through. Here we go. This one I think you'll know as well. The first written mention of a decorated Christmas tree dates back to the 16th century. In which region was this? Was it Alsace, Bavaria, Bourgogne, Burgundy, or Provence? So I think from the text I just read out, you will hear that I said Alsace. Now Alsace is right in the east, à l'est de la France, quite near the German, Belgian, Luxembourg, German border. So it's very well known for Germanic foods. And here you've got the beautiful Christmas tree. So you imagine all the forests with all the trees and the pines and the firs. And this is le sapin. Le sapin is a fir tree. Le sapin de Noël. So a tree is arbre, but it is a particular kind of tree, which is a fir tree of Christmas, le sapin. Okay? So, Alsace is where it comes from. 16th century. Do you know how we say 16th? So 16 is 16. 16e siècle. 16e, 16th century. Number 6. These are very sweet little things. One day I'd like to have one of these cribs with these little figures, painted figures in them. So what are they called? What is the name of the little provincial crib figures? The crib, we said, was le berceau. So, are they les lutins, les marionnettes, les nains, or les santons? So if you listen back to what I read earlier, you'll hear it was les santons. So the first ones, interestingly, are like goblins or imps, les lutins. Well, we don't want to put those in the crib, do we? The second one's marionettes. You've probably heard that word before. They're some kind of puppets. They're articulated, which means they move about. So they're puppets that moves about on strings or wood joints joined together. It's a puppet. Les nains rhymes with les mains, hands, are dwarfs. And then les santons are the little figures, little figurines made of terre cuite. Terre is earth, cuite is cooked, so clay, cooked earth is clay. So that's what they're made of. And then they paint them, so they're very, very pretty to decorate a crib. Next one's very easy, number 7. Oh, easy peasy. What do French people call Santa Claus? Is he Père Nicolas? Maybe it's not so easy. Père Noël, Saint Claus, or Saint Nicolas? Well, we've heard a lot about Saint Nicolas before. We heard it was the name of the festival that they have in Nancy, didn't we? But actually, just the general, traditional, colloquial, everyday term for Father Christmas, literally the word for father is Père, Christmas, Noël, so he's B, Père Noël. So now you know the name for Christmas, Noël. You know the name for Santa Claus, or Father Christmas, is Père Noël. You know the name for the Christmas tree, le sapin de Noël. And you know the name for the crib, where the little figures go, where Jesus was born, is le berceau. Number 8, on to the food. Right, okay. Here we go. What is the name of the traditional Christmas dessert in France? Is it la bûche de Noël, la forêt noire, le Kugelhof, or le pudding de Noël? Le pudding. I doubt if it's that one, do you? We have a Christmas pudding, which is very heavy. There's lots of fruit in it. I think you probably heard from the text, and you might know from this shape. This is like a white chocolate one, or I don't know if it's chocolate actually, it could be vanilla, it's got cream on it and all sorts going on. But traditionally we have a chocolate one, and it's shaped like a log, which is la bûche. So la bûche you might be thinking, oh, la bouche is the mouth. La bouche with O-U. La bouche with a U, with a circumflex. La bouche is a slightly more open sound. La bouche, bouche. La bouche de Noël is the log of Christmas, Christmas log, so it's this one. Okay, the next one, La Forêt Noire, is a black forest gâteau, which is traditionally from the Black Forest in Germany. Le Kugelhof, never tasted it, is some kind of patisserie from Alsace. And Le Pudding de Noël, I don't know if that's made up. Perhaps it is. That's a bit more what we would have. Le pudding is what we have, isn't it? And pudding is a familiar term for dessert. Number 9. Now this one, you might have heard in my French reading of the text what it is. It's right at the end of the text. So, what is the name of the cake French people eat at Epiphany? So l'Epiphanie, c'est le 6 janvier, so it's the 6th of January when they all get together. I went once, it was in the village hall, the salle des fêtes, and they've got together and they ate this. And there's a little gift inside. They have a little santon, or the little figurine, which someone will, hopefully they don't swallow it, but it will be in their part of the cake. And what is this called? Is it le berlingot du roi? La bûche de Noël, well we know it's not that because that's what you have for Christmas dessert. La fougasse, la galette des rois. Well, if you look at this crown, a crown would traditionally go on a queen or a king's head, and the word for king is in 2 of these answers, le berlingot du roi or la galette des rois. Well, the galette is a big round puff pastry kind of thing, so that's what that is. So it's la galette des rois. It's a flaky pastry, I'm just reading out what's in it, with frangipane, like almond filling. It can be a brioche ring with candied fruits. It will have this lucky charm inside. The king or queen will be a little figurine, a santon. And it's eaten around about le 6 janvier, the 6th of January. Okay? The last one of our quiz. Again, I know the answer to this one. I have tried to remember all of these answers because they're not easy, are they? Some of the names of the festivals, but a lot of these. This one is very interesting, I think, because we traditionally have our Christmas dinner on Christmas Day, kind of like a late lunch. Most people have it because sometimes they go to church in the morning, or it takes so long to cook turkey, they have to have it about 2 o'clock, don't they? But this one in France, as they do in some European countries, what is the name of the big dinner French people have on Christmas Eve? So the point is, they have theirs Christmas Eve quite late. Christmas Eve is le 24 décembre. It's also known as la veille, V-E-I-L-L-E, la veille, which means the day before. La veille de Noël is Christmas Eve. Is it called la grande bouffe, le grand dîner, la messe de minuit, or le réveillon de Noël? Well, la grande bouffe is to eat, stuff your face, to eat. So it's a bit of a colloquial word for a repas. It's not a very polite word. Le grand dîner, the big evening meal. La messe de minuit, well, that's where you go to church for the messe, the midnight mass. So that's an action of going along and praying and singing. So it's not that, is it? It's le réveillon de Noël, which is a lovely word, I think, because the réveil is the awakening, the waking up. Le réveil is an alarm clock, so it's the alarm clock of Christmas, waking up the appetite, the senses, having this big meal en famille avec des amis to welcome in Christmas. So that's what that is, and I've written here it can last up to 6 hours. I mean, if you've ever eaten a French celebratory meal, a wedding or one of these, they go on for hours, which is quite nice because they do take their time in between courses, and that's what they do. So actually this year we had a réveillon and we had a Christmas dinner, so I decided to do 2 in the true French tradition. So there you go, that's all about Christmas, and I hope you've enjoyed it. And if you want the challenge of doing the translation and then answering the quiz, then do have a go. And even if you can get odd words, so far, just to recap, let's have 5 words to do with Christmas. So we've got Christmas Eve, la veille de Noël, le 24. The Christmas Eve meal is le réveillon. Christmas Day, the day of Christmas, le jour de Noël. And then you have a Christmas tree on Christmas Day, le sapin de Noël. And hopefully you'll have some visite from Santa Claus, who is Père Noël. So you've learned lots of new vocabulary, plus some others in the quiz. Hope you've enjoyed it. And the next one we'll look at the new year, le nouvel an. Au revoir, à la prochaine.